The steps that you're going to need to take when you build a scale is the first thing you're going to need to be able to do is identify your key or know what your key is. And you know what? Your worksheet's going to tell you what key you're starting with. But if you were at home and just said, you know what? I want to be able to play and I want to know the notes in an F major scale. F is your starting note. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write the letters. We're going to write from F, and we're going to write all the letters in a row until we reach the next F. Because remember, we're going to be playing or constructing an octave basically. So F, what comes after F? G after G. I hope you know we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and here's where I stop because I've created my octave. So after you write down the letters, and this is required, so on your homework assignments, you need to have the letters written down for me. After you write down your letters, you need to write these notes on the scale. We're going to draw them on the staff. Pick your clef. I'm going to choose treble clef. Excuse me. The homework tells you which clef it's in, but no matter what clef you're in, just make sure that the note you start on is somewhere toward maybe the bottom or middle of the staff. We wouldn't want to start drawing our scale way up here on this F up there, even though that is an F and it would be accurate. You'd end up having a whole lot of ledger lines. It's going to be a lot easier if you choose to start on the F that is the space at the bottom of the staff. So now I'm going to draw my letters up, and remember in music a scale, just like the letters are next door to each other, the notes on the staff are as well. So we're always going to go space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. And a scale is always going to look like that. The notes go in order. Next, what we're going to do, so we've drawn the letters, we've drawn the notes. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to write down the pattern. And yes, even if you memorized it, even if you knew this before you started this class, you need to write this down for me. It'll take you 2 seconds, so just do it. So in between, remember, we're going to think of F, and if you need to write the letters, you may, but remember, we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't need to write that part down, but if that helps you, you can. So we said the pattern was what? We walked home when we walked home. Be sure to write the W or the H in between the two notes. The whole step is not underneath the F. The F's not a whole step. The whole step is in between the F and the G or whatever. So the H or the W needs to be written in between the letters. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the notes and we're going to adjust with perhaps sharps or flats to make sure that there really are whole steps or half steps in between those notes. So remember, I said the only scale that is all white keys is C. So any other scale, you can just assume you're going to have a sharp or a flat or something in there, okay? So let's take a look. There's a couple of different ways to think about it. You can first think, okay, in between F and G, it's supposed to be a whole step. So let's just take a look. Let me fill these in for you. So in between F and G, is that a whole step? Yes, it is, so I don't need to do anything. Another way to think about it is just to put your finger on F and, okay, it's a whole step, so go bloop, bloop. You end up on G. So no changes need to be made to G. G is in the F major scale. Now, starting on G, we're going to go up another half step. So let's go half, half. It's A. Do I need to make any changes to A? No. So A is the third scale degree in the F major scale. Now, from A to B, that's where we're supposed to have a half step. And you might already be thinking, oh wait, from A to B, that's not a half step. Or you can think from A, so I'm on A, we go up that half step, I'm on a black key. So I know, what do I need to do? I'm going to do what to that B? I'm going to flatten my B. And now here's why it is really important that you go ahead and draw those notes on the staff. If you had not drawn those notes on the staff already, you might be on A, and then you go up a half step and you end up on this black key. And here's what some people have done before. They've drawn in A sharp. Well, technically, they're playing the right note on the piano, and it would still sound like the beginning of an F major scale. But remember, a scale needs to look like space, line, etc. So you've got to have it in the right order. You've got to have it on that B with the flat on there. So don't forget that step and make sure that your scale is moving up. All right, here we're at the middle of our F major scale. So we're on O, and I just forgot to do something I was going to tell you to make sure to do. Make sure to write your flat not only on the music staff, but also down here. So you've got to adjust it in both places. Notice on the music, I put the flat before the note because remember the musician needs to be able to see that flat as they're playing to be able to adjust a finger or to be able to make another adjustment for that pitch. When we say it out loud though, we say B flat. So the flat actually goes after the letter. So make sure to understand that difference and do that correctly. So now we're on that B flat and we need to be going up a whole step. We already know that if we go up a whole step, we're not on B because that'd be a half step. We'd be on the next note on the piano, which would be what? C. So do I need to make a change to that C? No, I don't. That C is correct. It is a plain old C in the F major scale. All right, from C, you're going up a whole step. So let me go back to this C over here since we can see it. We're going whole step, so we're going half, half. I'm on D. Is that right? Yep. From D, it's another whole step, so I'm going half, half. It's plain old E, so is that correct? Yes, it is. Last two pitches are really important because if you get here and it is this half step, then you've done the entire thing correct. If you get to the end and that's not a half step, you've messed up somewhere and you've got to start over. But let's just do a check from E to F. Is it a half step? It sure is. And here's why that last one's already going to be correct. Because you can't change this last note. If for some reason, if for some reason that this wasn't right, you're not going to make an adjustment to that last note because this F has to match the first F. So when you get to the end, between scale degrees 7 and 8, it's got to be a half step. Okay, so I hope that that's clear to you all. Let's go ahead and let's try another one together. So that was F major, and the only thing we changed on F major was that we added in a flat on the B, and I think that might be on your homework somewhere. But remember the steps that you need to have, and I need to be able to see. First, you need to write the letters from whatever your first scale degree is all the way to that matching octave. Next up, you need to write down draw the notes on the staff. Next step, you need to write down your we walked home when we walked home pattern. And then you need to go back through, make any adjustments as far as any flats or sharps you might need to add on both the notes on the staff, and you need to add in a flat or a sharp on the letter. How about, we're gonna do G now. So we're gonna start from G, and I think G's on your homework too. So first step, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Next step, we draw it on the staff. And give yourself some space. Sometimes I see people and they turn it in and their notes are really close together like this, and it's very hard then to add any sharps or flats. So give yourself some space on your work that you're going to turn in. From there, what do I need to do next? Write in your whole and half step pattern. So we walked home when we walked home. Now we're going to look at our pianos, and you can look at the graphic that I've put online, or you could probably get a picture just like this from offline and print it up and just play with it with your fingers if you don't have a keyboard at home. So let's start on G, and let's go up a whole step. Bloop, bloop. Plain old A, no adjustment needed. No flat or no sharp on an A. From A to B, it's a whole step, so we're going to go half, half. Good, so here we are, plain old B, no adjustment needed. From B to C, it needs to be a half step. So you can just imagine that your C would be right here. Remember, between B and C, there is no black key, so that C is correct. From C, we go up a whole step, so we go half, half. Plain old D, that's correct. So far, I haven't changed anything in G major, and that's correct. From D, I go up a whole step, so half, half, takes me to plain old E. Oh, you might be getting confused if you did this on your own. From E to F needs to be a whole step. Now wait, if we go here, plain old F's only a half step. I hope I said that. From E to F needs to be a whole step. Anyway, so now if we're on E, if we go up to plain old F, that's only a half step. So we actually have to go up another half step to make that whole step. So let's do that again. From E, if I go up a whole step, bloop, bloop, I'm up here on this black key. Now remember, we already have it as F and we already have it up there, because sometimes people will be like, well, wait, do I write down F sharp or do I write down G flat? You know you have to write down F sharp because you've already written the F here and you've already written the F here. So we put the sharp here and we put the sharp here. Okay, now remember, once we get to the end, it already should be right. So between F sharp and G, so this is my F sharp, between F sharp and G, is that a half step like it should be? Yes, it is. So this is the G major scale. The G major scale is made up of the letters G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. And when those notes are played in order, they give the same sound as the do, re, mi that you heard in the C major scale. It has the same sound, just a different starting note. Why is that? Well, in some instruments, certain instruments are going to be easier to play in certain keys than others. Also, singers sometimes might want something written in a higher key or a lower key for range reasons. Someone who sings lower is going to want a song written in a lower key. So the starting note just kind of adjusts where you start. From then on, when these notes are played or sung in order, it gives that same major scale sound that you heard on the piano at the beginning. I hope that gives you a good introduction to major scales and how to build them. In the next video, we'll talk about some more specifics of the construction of major scales, and I'll also demonstrate some of the more difficult major scales for you.